Welcome, welcome, 1,000 welcomes, baby boos, to my YouTube. Hi, I'm Chris Farah, and today we'll be talking about 90 Day Fiance. We'll be talking about Happily Ever After. We're in season 7, and it's episode 4. I don't know why it made me laugh. Just because there's so many seasons of so many offshoots. I have a little fuzz on my chapstick. It's interesting that they put Ed and Angela kind of like two very intensely, polarizing figures on this season, right? I won't talk about Ed, other than bringing him up every episode to tell you guys I won't talk about him. But um, and with Angela, it's like a whole thing. I don't know what to do about that one. I'm obviously talking about her, but it's trepidatious, I would say. I'm so excited to see you guys. Hi, so many people in the room. Hi, yes. Hey, yes, my loves. Hello from Central Florida. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Sarah. You're gorge. Honey, look at that necklace. That's beautiful. Hey, I love you. I love you. Hi, hey. Hey, from the Bay, my princess from the Bay. I'm moving. I got this notification, but I can't watch. We're unpacking, but I'm here in spirit. I love you. Oh my God. Hi. Thank you for being so lovely, by the way. Digital penetration with Len and Aaron on my Instagram. You guys are awesome. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to get into this. Don't even worry. But if you haven't yet liked this video, and just, it's like kind of putting the lights on as you walk into a room, just like flipping a switch and letting everyone know that you are here. If you don't like this video, you don't have to. You can just choose to dislike it at the end, and you can wait and see how you feel about it. But do something, Hi, friends. The best part of the show is the other show, Pillow Talk, because we get to see John Boston John. I know, isn't it so funny? Okay, so when Pillow Talk first happened, I never watched it because I had already watched the episode. And I do commentary I almost said a living, but like I do comments. To my mind, I was like, I don't really need to see the episode again. But I would watch the Annie and David aspects because I thought they were, and I think that they're real charming and fun. So, and I know that there are like other charming, fun coops on Pillow Talk. Like people love Molly, and stuff. I just like the Tim Veronica thing. Like, I don't think I'll ever get into that, like Tim and Kenny, like being on the tell all and giving their opinion, I thought was completely unnecessary in every way. Every time it cut to them, they said basically nothing of importance, nothing of value, just awkward, like two unfunny people like you're watching a television show with. They're not funny. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, maybe I'm biased, but if you are going to try to like reuse your own content and then add in commentators, they have to be funny. They have to be funny. Like, not just like chuckles from like their friends. I mean, comedians. Or just really funny personalities. That's it. That's what I need. I'm not going to rewatch your footage to get some boring people's opinions of them. Not every person that's on a reality show has to be famous. You know what I'm saying? And they definitely, I know they want to be, Just checked. Can you do a dislike? Can't you? Thumbs down. Can you not do the dislikes anymore? Oh. I choose whom I do a recap with, and it is you. Wow, I do. I know. I appreciate that so much. Which, having said that, I'm reviewing this episode. And Juan, I review this same episode already for our podcast, Docu Sweeties. Have you guys taken a listen? It's free. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, and Google. Apple Podcasts, for some reason, is the first to upload them. So, so we'll be uploading that hopefully when we get it back from our lovely editor. Her name is Jean Marie. She does the Lord's work. However, if you want unedited footage of us doing the live stream, you are welcome to join our Patreon, which is $10 a month, patreon.com/DocuSweeties, and then you can just watch it the moment we're done filming. And we also have 2 episodes of this great, really great Hulu / Freeform docuseries called The Deep Down, which we are diving into, which has to do with, I mean, since we're on YouTube, I'll tell you this right now. I didn't know this person at all, but there's a YouTube spiritual healer named Teal Swan who has gotten a lot of fanfare. I did not know this person one bit before I watched the docuseries. Like, I never heard her name, and it would have been something that I would have remembered. Like, did you guys? Okay, from my lovely friends here that are on YouTube, did you know of Teal Swan? Do you know of Teal Swan? And when did you know of Teal Swan? And what are your thoughts on Teal Swan, which is a person? I keep saying her name. Anyway, it's a crazy situation. It's 4 episodes. We've done 2 and we'll do 2 more. It's great. Okay, so we'll talk about 90 Day here. And also, by the way, we're doing Love After Lockup on the podcast. So like that's already been happening. It's already uploaded. Okay. I kind of keep thinking that I will like do Single Life too, but I only have really like watched a little bit of the first episode. Like Natalie like going through her Hollywood tour bus, which is like with her own selfie stick. I can't even. Okay, hold on. Reading back. John is the funniest on Pillow Talk, I'm sure. Who the hell is that? I know of her. Okay. No, people don't know. Or I only heard of her because of the Freeform show. I've heard of her about 6 months ago. I never knew of Teal, but I also don't look for motivation on YouTube. Yeah. I have heard negative things about Teal Swan. I watched a pseudo documentary about her. It's great. Okay. My friend who is a sad girl knew of her. Yeah, that hit me kind of. Yeah. Is it that? I'm not going to say that, I think, okay, like I said, that's Melody. I think that you like hit a point. No one's perfect. And we all have like, different degrees of like things we deal with or whatever. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, like I've never been suicidal, like thank God. I don't really deal with massive depression. I deal with more like anxiety, so and I've talked about this. Like my Instagram definitely has a lot of like anxious attachment styles and how to deal with that. And like, what if you were an empath who's highly sensitive? Like I get a lot of that. So maybe that's my mental health algorithm, but maybe you would have to have been in an algorithm of like deep trauma and pain to have kind of like stumbled upon her, yes. I'm so happy to see Amsterdam. Hi, friends. Okay, so, but I do want to do Single Life, but I haven't really watched it all, so I don't have to tell you about that. Maybe I can do a recap, and then I can, like, hopefully, because I think it airs Mondays, I would like to just jam it into, like, one big 90-day talk. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm going to mark this 8:23 is when actually we'll start talking about this episode. I'm sorry about that. Also, I fell off a horse. Sorry, it's like I haven't seen you guys and it feels like I haven't talked in so long. Did I tell you guys I fell off a horse? I fell off a horse. I've been taking horseback riding lessons, and it was the first time this happened. I fell off a horse. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I was on the horse, and then everything was going fine, and I was off the horse. Like, I didn't see it coming, honey. I keep saying it was like I was like a drunk TikTok star at Saddle Ranch. Like, I got thrown. I did get back up on the horse, and we took a little barn walk. But it was like painful. I like didn't do much last week at all, except like lay in bed and take a leave and put this like CBD oil over myself. Anyway. Okay, so this episode is called Truth Hurts. Okay, we start with Libby and Andre, honey. And Libby has gotten herself to a vocal coach to, get her vocal cords warmed up for the embarking of her new career singing lullabies on TikTok with her daughter, who she says, like loves it. Her daughter is all about it. She said, I mean, her daughter's really, really, really cute, but I love the idea of like, I'm doing it. My daughter's loving it. Like, well, yeah, most kids love to sing. And like kids at that age, like if you are looking at them with big eyes and making like a high sound with your voice, like they're going to love it anyway. That's just like, it's like basic kid 101. But she's at this vocal coach, and it looks like a fun studio. Her vocal coach is named Roxy, like, which harkens back to Fosse's Chicago. Come on. And she's doing all the vocal things, and I've done them too. It's like, blah, you do this, and you gotta like do your tongue exercises and this thing, tongue circles and everything. And then like the different, vocal warm-ups, like going low, like and like we were supposed to, it's kind of a thing where because I've taken so much vocal lessons over my life, or I've been in musical theater, it's like you have to go down as low as possible and have like a big open note. And then they want you to go up, up, up into like your high range and try and really, a part of getting up high is like using, and what I'm doing right now is like placing the voice in different areas. Like when it's down low, it's in my chest. And then I sort of have to go high, and then it sort of ends up in my nose. I can feel it reverberating in my nose, And listen, she's doing a good job with those things. It's like her first time in a long time. And, Roxy's like, well, what do you want to do? And she tells Roxy, and Roxy blinks. And she's like, well, it's a really hard course, what you've decided to do. Become a social media influencer singer. I know that this, okay, well, you guys have so slow. Okay, Libby was embarrassing and Roxy was being diplomatic. Wall brought this up. Libby was very embarrassing. She's a horrible singer, has no talent. Poor Roxy would tell her that in a very diplomatic way. I don't think that Libby is a horrible singer. Like, I think that, like, if we were all, like, slightly tipsy at a karaoke bar and, like, she got up there to the mic, we'd be happy about it. Like, we'd be happy, especially if she sang, like, a Carrie Underwood song, because she has that country slang, Like, if Libby was like, I really want to be a professional singer. I want to get hired. I want to have a tour. I'm going to release some albums where I think that a record label is going to put a bunch of money behind me and make me a star. But that's not what she's saying. She's saying, I want to sing lullabies on TikTok with my daughter. And what she's also not saying, which we know, is that, she has a social media following because she's on a big ass show, right? Mm-hmm. And like, for instance, Bilal and Shida right now are like do little TikToks, right? Like married people TikToks on Bilal's Instagram. They're not great, but they're shot. Like, to me, Libby's like choice in career doesn't seem that hard. All she wants to do is like sing some lullabies with her daughter and then just make TikTok videos. And once everything can be done in GarageBand and released like on a album that she's gonna like sell to like her, I don't know, 500,000 or less. I'm not quite sure how many followers she has. To me, it's like, because she hasn't said that she wants to be a professional singer, I don't necessarily think that Roxy needs to be so like, let me tell you what it's like. You have a lot of work to do. And it's not just the singing, it's the recording the videos and everything. I don't understand why Roxy thinks, having just met Libby, that she's like incapable of doing TikTok lullabies. Am I like the only? It's not hard. It's easy. It's really easy. She could even go on Fiverr and get them made for her if she really wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not hard. Anyway, so she also gives a little backstory of the fact that, so when she wanted to sing, but no one in her whole family sings. And she makes it known that she had like a half-time job, like a summertime high school job. And she used all the money to go right to voice lessons. And I kind of was like, Libby, you're like your daughter. You're like your father's favorite daughter. Are you telling me that you never was like able to go up to Chuck and be like, Daddy, and just be like, I need some voice lessons. Like, he wouldn't give you like $40 to get a voice lesson back in the 90s. Really? Anyway, listen, my life was different. Okay. My dad, what I just did is exactly what happened. When I was in, I don't know when the original Little Mermaid came out. And I probably was going to date myself right away, but I think it was like, let me find out. When Little Mermaid came out, the original one, and by the way, I'm so excited for the new one, please, please, please. But when the original came out, I would not stop singing. Wouldn't stop singing it. Couldn't stop, wouldn't stop. Um, God, I looked it up, Little Mermaid original, 1989. Okay, so God, I'm really young. I'm like 7. So let's just say 7 or 8. It comes out and it was 89. And I won't stop singing from it. Won't just, so my dad ended up putting me in voice lessons to like, because he thought that I would stop, like I would have a vehicle to sing and then I could just like not be singing it the same song over and over again. And so I remember like on Wednesdays, my dad would pick me up from school and then he would give me some gum and then he would drop me off at this, I think her name was like Vicky Talil. I loved her so much. She was like total voice coach with the piano, like in her house. And I would go there and like, play or whatever. And she would only sing Little Mermaid. And she would be like, okay, we have to sing other songs. And can you also like, if we're going to just sing Little Mermaid, can you like try to also sing it in your voice and not like your 7-year-old impression of Jodie Benson? And I wish I had like I wish I had like a vocal recording of what that meant because I can't imagine what that actually tried to sound like back then. I really, really liked it though. I was too young to like learn how to read music. I still can't really read music and it makes me upset. But anyway, so she's there, Libby, and she's talking about the trauma of not really having like any support, how hard it was for her. And because she didn't, people like made fun of her. Like, she was like the youngest one. I'm sure like Becky and Buki were like, nah, we don't like your dumb vocal lessons. We want to take water polo or whatever it was. She talks about singing being like a therapy for her. And so I guess when Roxy is kind of like, it's really, really hard to do what you want to do. And I just want to be really, really honest and stuff. Like her overall demeanor, Roxy's demeanor was like an American Idol judge. Like someone has come before her and it's her job to like let it be known if she can sing or not. And I don't really think that's a vocal coach's job. A vocal coach's job is to make a voice better. And one way you make a voice better is not by like slamming someone's self-confidence. Also, Roxy, like, what? How? I mean, come on, girl. You're a vocal coach in the middle of. I don't know where you live, but it's definitely not New York or LA, where I feel like you're not like in between your Broadway gigs, love. I don't know. Now, Libby goes to sing her 2 songs, and the first song is "Mary Had a Little Lamb," and it's Libby is trying the most of it. Like Libby is like really putting the feeling behind this Mary Had a Little Lamb, which she didn't even need to do. Like I kind of want to be like, okay, girl, like if you're going to sing lullabies, like why don't we try and like lighten it up a little bit? Like, let's see, we can bring in a little breath. We can bring in a little, like softer tones. We're not trying to make everyone feel all the feels. You're going to put, really your job was to put babies to sleep. Put babies to sleep. Like, what if you had your baby in your hand, you want to put her to sleep? You're not going to be like, Mary had a little lamb. Like, you're going to be like, Mary had a little lamb. Like, come on, right? I'm another person that was like, why are you, honey, what do you think you are? This isn't like the 4 tenors. Come on. So... And yeah, Roxy's like, okay, yeah, it was okay, except for that one note, little pitchy, like goes back to American Idol judges, little pitchy dog right there. And then she sings the Itsy Bitsy Spider. It's just like so funny to see like Libby giving it her complete all. I'm gonna tell you this one thing about Libby too, because I'm like, whatever. She also does this fun thing, this very country thing where she's like, meh, like she does meh, meh, Mary. She does this like vocal. When she hits Mary, she does like this Southern country thing. which I didn't mind, but I almost wanted like Roxy to like do the work of like calling her out on that. That's like being like, okay, just so you know, you're making a choice, or your voice is naturally doing this like a stop where you're like, which is, listen, again, a thing country people do, but I think that's more like the vocal coaches training to point that kind of stuff out, and not like, you can't do what you're wanting to do. Which again isn't like selling out the Met, honey. It's making TikTok videos. Come on. Yeah, so God bless. So that happens, and Roxy like gives her confessional to camera and whatever. Now, the one thing that she did correct her is true. If you are under a note, if you are pitchy, especially when you're going up, you do smile, and it lifts up it lifts up like the mechanicisms in your throat, so that there's a more open sound, so for you to more easily ascertain those higher notes. So that was a viable thing to say. But the truth of the matter is, this is my last thing I'll say, Libby should be smiling throughout every song she sings, because what she's trying to sing is like all warm lullabies, so like you really can hear a difference when someone's singing smiling and not. Like, Mary had a little lamb sounds different from Mary had, and it's like I did a different note. Mary had, it really does. Smiling makes you like go up a little bit. Mary had a little lamb, and you can feel the warmth through. It's like, not that I'm trying to give you like full Julie Andrews, but you know what I'm saying? I'm not the best at this, but Roxy isn't either. Okay, so next scene is Ellie and Libby practicing the Moldovan language for the visit of grandfather, which is Andre's dad. I was also just like impressed that Libby was like, giving her daughter language lessons of a language that she like doesn't really know. She's like trying to like make sure that her daughter will say things that, like, to her grandpa, and the grandpa, will feel like a connection to the daughter, which I was like really happy about. And he gets there, he's like so cute, he like, the grandfather's excited. He brings her like this adorable little unicorn. She loves the unicorn. I would have loved the unicorn. Oh, that was so cute. And that man knew exactly what to give that little girl. It makes me sad though that Andre's mom for some reason can't get a visa. Like, how is it one person and not the other? Like, here you guys were talking about, I love it. I don't know what this is about, but not that. Once Waz said she would put money on my books. I mean, you guys are talking about something absolutely different, and I love it. So once the grandfather gets there, Andre takes the grandpa. First of all, the grandpa loves the house, right? Like, he can't get over the fact that like his son was living in this beautiful house. Like, he's like, this kitchen is so big. It's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful, nice house. And it really made me feel warm inside that Andre's dad was like proud and like in awe of what Andre has accomplished. Now, again, they're making money in a variety of ways. And so we don't really know if it was like all of this was just on Andre's doing through the help of Chuck, or the other various methods of them getting money, from like influencer life to who knows, like, oh, I don't know, OnlyFans. I don't know what they do. So, but nonetheless, the house is beautiful. So they go and get like American ice cream, and it's like huge ass sundaes, like with maraschino cherries and like whipped cream kind of sundaes, like on waffle cones, which I mean, I get as a whole thing. And oh God, it seems like too much. That kind of thing grosses me out. It's not that I don't like sweets. It's just that for some reason, like ice cream, I like compact scoops. If it's ice cream, I want like a couple of compact scoops, like our gelato, like in a small cup. Like, I can't do a whole ass sundae. Also, and this is something that Juan and I talked about, I don't need whipped cream on top of ice cream. Whipped cream is okay, but like whipped cream is an afterthought for like hot items, I think. Or like a pie that needs like a whipped moment. But like ice cream doesn't need extra cream on top. I don't get it. Okay, so yeah, the dad's like, even the ice cream is huge. I can only eat half of it. And it's like, yeah, no one in this world should eat all of that. It really is like when you go, if you, yeah, to look at American food portion sizes through different eyes is illuminating. And definitely someone from a different country helps you do that where you're like, oh, yeah, this is a lot. Like, why? Like, there's no rhyme or reason why you would give that much, other than the fact that there are some people in this world, they'll be like, they don't give me enough. So I got to go to the place where they give me more for the money, you know? I don't know. The dad's there and Libby like starts doing her best to understand their language, and she's like doing a pretty good job. Like I'm really proud of her. And it's Andre's dad is like a very soft-spoken, demure man. Like he's not like super machismo, like this is the my way or the highway, which obviously Andre is. How did I like where did Andre get that like machismo bravado from? Because it feels like it's not his dad. Like, did he have like an uncle that was around? Was his grandfather like that? Um, so basically they start having they start then talking about Libby's mom for some reason, like this is not I'm like, to me, like this is not the time, it's his time now, honey. He just got off the plane. Like, can we just like enjoy this ice cream and like keep talking in his language? Like, I don't understand why we now have to make him listen to like your guys' like drama in English. Ugh, but that's because producers are there. And the dad like tries to give, lovely advice, which is basically says when you're in a community and someone needs help, you fix it. Speaking of Charlie, like if Charlie's alcoholism, and it's not really what Andre wants to hear. Like Andre probably wants to hear like, son, you're being right. You are right, son. Um, and Libby like makes it known that she had a conversation with her mom, Pam, that she wants Andre and Pam to like talk over their differences, which I feel like is dumb because that's your mom. You handle your mom. You handle your parents. I feel like I'm not married, and so like my married people can tell me, but like this goes back to the Jovi Yara thing. It's like you and like keep when you're married, like you have to keep your relationship with your married person separate from other people in your life. Or you don't go and like complain about them to people in your life and then like blame each other like you're in the middle. Like I feel like I want someone to handle their business in such a way. Like Andre has been having to handle Libby's family business like this entire time. And he's, done various degrees of success and or not success doing so. One thing that he did somewhat is that he really did, I guess, endear himself to Chuck in a way to like, okay. P.S. Language of Moldova is Romanian. You know what? I'm so glad you said this. It's because last night when I was doing this live with Wa, she like kept saying that it wasn't Romanian. And so I'm now like, I don't know why I hadn't done the research before I started this to be like, why do I not know? Romanian. So anyway, so she sets up the fact they're going to need to chat. And then there's a little aside where for some reason, even though we saw the studio in the house, because like that was when the like backup singer from like the wife of the mortgage breaker that was at the holiday open house party, who the hell knows, asked Libby to sing and she said no, but they were in the studio that they had created in their home. So in this next scene now, seems like they're in the living room, and for some reason the keyboard's in the living room, and like, Libby's doing her vocal warm-ups, and Andre just loves it. He's just like, I love hearing her sing, even if it's a song I don't like, and then she's like, what songs that I sing don't you like? And I was like, oh my God, what's it gonna be? And then he says Eminem, and I'm like, she doesn't sing Eminem. Anyway, so next scene is the Andre Pam talking scene, which happens at like a coffee house. Andre gets there first and orders an acai bowl and um, a coffee. I don't know if he knew he was getting an acai bowl or if he thought he was getting an acai smoothie. I'm not quite sure. But then Pam sits down with, let's talk about it, this like Louis Vuitton with like gold hardware bag that she like makes sure is like seen, all over the place seen. And she sits down and she's like, Andre, I didn't know we were going to order breakfast. And he's like, oh no, it's just coffee. And then proceeds throughout the scene to spoon a acai bowl into his mouth. Sir. What's that? What's that tasty Amazon rainforesty taste in your mouth? What do you think that is? I mean, yeah. He didn't think that was breakfast, huh? And I don't know why she said it. She was like, is she trying to be like, can I get something to eat? Did she order coffee? Do you think it's a little weird if you meet someone at a fast casual coffee, look at a coffee place on my face. Like if you meet someone at and or a fast casual restaurant or a coffee place, do you wait for them and then you order, or do you order right when you get there? Andre is just like, he has the decorum of like a bull in a china shop, you know? So basically they have more of this horrible, horrible conversation, which is like, I really hate it. So it's basically like Pam being like, I want to have a birthday and I want you there and I want Ellie there and I want Libby there and I want everyone there, including Charlie and his wife, Megan. And Andre's like, I said no to that. And I still feel like a no. No, it's going to be no. And she like she will not let it sink in that all of her family members have said that she's in denial over his alcoholism. Charlie's. She will just keep putting it on everyone else. She's like, Andre, you drink too. You're the same amount of alcohol. And Andre, you're a coward. No, you're a coward for not wanting to be around my son, who like at a kid's party last time, like came at you guys. You almost like came to fisticuffs, like at a child's pool party. I think you're the coward. And Pam's vibe is toxic. It's a toxic vibe. Pam looks like she's an alcoholic. I think that's why probably she doesn't want to admit that Charlie does have a problem. Pam sort of looks like she's already had 3 drinks every time we see her. Like the makeup is always slightly smeared and her hair is kind of like always like roughed around. I mean, this is not a polished woman, even though she wants us to think with the Louis Vuitton and the beaded caftans that she is. She's not. And one other whole part of this is like Libby either wants to go to her mom's birthday or she doesn't, right? Let's say Libby wants to go and she's like trying to like get them to come to a place because whatever they decide is like she gets to do. So if Libby actually wants to go, she could have literally been like, Andre, why don't you sit this one out? I'm going to go to my mom's birthday. And I don't know if Charlie will be there or not, but I'm just going to go support her. That's the like honest thing to do. Now, if Libby doesn't want to go for sure, then why is she putting on her husband to like talk to her mom? She should just be like, no, mom, we're not going. I said it. You're my mom. I can say it. Knowing that her husband also doesn't want to go. I just feel like we all make decisions as adults, and like if you're, adult enough to have a TikTok account to sing the babies, like let's make some choices. I don't know. I just feel like, and I know that everything has to be like a drama thing. Wrong to expect a mother to abandon a child. I see what you're saying, but I see what you're saying. A conversation could be had is that by living in denial of perhaps a problem that your child is having, you are emotionally abandoning your child for some sort of veneer that you want to keep up that everything is safe and good. Because if you are a mother, you know that your child has a desperate problem. If you believe that this person has a desperate problem, then you would want that child to come to that child's senses and get therapy and be fixed so they can live a happy, aligned, adult, successful life. But if you don't do that, if that's not something that you care about, then maybe you wouldn't be able to see that. T. Jones. I look like an alcoholic, but I am not. I even drive like an alcoholic, but I am not. Honey, sometimes he types like an alcoholic, but he's not. I'm just kidding. Charlie can be in the party on Zoom. I think I'm a mean mom. I wouldn't enable them to keep engaging in such behavior. It's like, first of all, Pam has never said, you guys, I actually have tried to talk to Charlie about this. You all keep saying it to me. So I had a conversation with Charlie and this is what happened. But she has been so defensive about even like, has she had a conversation? Like, does she ever talk to her son? I mean, the truth of the matter is, I think that's why I keep thinking it's because she's an alcoholic herself, that she doesn't want to look at herself. She doesn't want to look at her son. Looking at her son and being truthful about her son would be having to be truthful about herself. And it's all very painful, probably for her. It's much easier for her to buy Louis Vuitton. Okay, so that's how I feel. But at the same time, it's not that I want her to abandon her son. She also has other kids. And those kids have kids. Her babies have babies. Little babies running around that she all wants them all of them be there, and like you have like a toxic alcoholic son. I mean, there's just other people involved. Even so, this is between her and Charlie. Being banished from the family mostly because Andre is the most uncomfortable is wrong. If Andre was the only one having an issue with Charlie, I think I would be able to understand. But Becky, Buki, Libby, all of them have like also been like, Charlie is an alcoholic, so that's also three kids you gave birth to. I don't know. I love talking about this stuff though. I love everyone having a different opinion. So let's move on. Angela and Michael. So, we're back with Angela, honey, and she is, like smoking and drinking Diet Coke and, taking one yoga class and calling it a day. And sometimes, I don't know. I just got a text. She is in the backyard. She's taking care of all the grandkids. She's always taking all the grandkids, like the grandkids love her. They're Mima. And for all intents and purposes, she has a good relationship with them on camera. They very much all love her. And they very much are like trying to ride bikes and like, this would be better if Peepaw was here, and Peepaw's Michael. And she's also like, I really want Michael to come because I really feel like these kids need to have like a positive male role model. And which begs the question of like, where are those kids' fathers? And where are those kids' dads, like the grandfathers on their dad's side? Not this, I mean, no one, there's not all these grandkids only have you and like your two daughters. On this property, there are many like mobile homes, and we have to assume that one of them is where Scotty lives. And Skyla. Skyla is the daughter that we see, and Scotty is Angela's look-alike daughter that we only saw the first season, but then she was promptly arrested for child molestation, and she was sentenced to 20 years, and then she got out like a I can't remember, but like 4 months later. And then like was just supposed to live the rest of the 20 years on probation. And obviously she's not on TLC's, won't be on the show. But she's around. So I had done a deep dive, and I guess during like a 4th of July party, she was like featured in the background of people's live streams or stuff like that. She's like there, and someone's like, "Don't eat all the steaks, save some for Scotty." So like, it's like we knew it. And some people were like, "How is Angela having Scotty around like all those kids? And can Scotty be around the kids?" I don't know the answer to any of that because I'm assuming that Scotty has to be a registered sex offender, and I don't know how that goes for being around your own kids. Um, it's a really effed up situation. So, but Angela is like, teaching all the kids how to ride a bike, and she has like such skinny chicken legs. My gosh. Which is another reason why, you want to like work out when you lose a bunch of weight. You want to make sure that like you're maintaining like amount of lean muscle mass to, sort of like, sculpt and change your body. But I don't know, my loves, if like Angel's doing all of the like workouts that she probably needs to do. Then she decides to go into her car to call Michael because it's his birthday. And they have a very tense, terse conversation that's basically like, "Hi, Michael. Uh, hi, Angie." Actually, I think he says, "Hi, Angela." And she's like, "Happy birthday." He's like, "Thanks." And then she's like, "Did you go out anywhere?" And he goes, "I don't have any money to go out anywhere. You know that. You won't give me any." "Well, why? Why is that, Michael?" I mean, she like loses her mind. And no, she has like a horrible ponytail. It's like chip choppering in the back, like a little helicopter honey. It's like a really bad scene. We It's like they are always fighting over money. She's always like, all you want is money from me, even though you're the one that told him not to get a job for whatever reason. And at the same time, Michael's like, "You won't give me money," when you could also just get a job and have your own money, Michael, because you definitely don't mind going against her word about the social media thing. So like, if she's not in Nigeria, you could get a job. Absolutely, you could. And then you would have your own money. You wouldn't have to complain. So it's like both of them are whatever they are, and both of them have made choices to continue in this situation for whatever reasons. And so she is like verbally abusive and a loud, crazy person. And he, for some reason, is still on the show and has been taking it. And it's not right for her. And it's just interesting because I don't quite see why he's so beholden to her. It isn't like he's in the country and she's all he know, and he is getting threatened that she'll, you know, take away the visa or whatever. It's like I want to have more sympathy for him, but I also am just like, you're not even there. Like just don't, you're not, just never pick up the phone, block her number, and just get a job. Then you won't ever have to hear her like crazy screaming anymore. This isn't a situation where like you have kids with this person and this person's like holding over like your livelihood and like and your your immigration status over your head while you're like stuck in this country. It feels like you're only staying in this because you want to get to America. And the truth of the matter is like, don't do it. So why are we talking about Angela but no Big Ed? She is just as horrible of a person. I know it. Well, first, one reason why I'm not okay. So you're right, Troy versus everybody. It's a very hard line to draw. For me, I hate Big Ed, but also Big Ed is on a show called 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After with someone who is not a foreign person. It's like not even on, I mean, that Jen lives in San Diego. So it's like one thing, but also to me it feels like Michael can just leave. Michael like stands up to her, yells at her back, like I don't understand why he's staying in the situation when like Ed of Rosa, like Rose was like a 2-year-old feeling person. I mean, who like didn't have running water. I don't know. I don't know why it feels different. It's not different. It just is I mean, there's like different context, but I can see your point. You're not wrong. Listen, Angela makes me puke, sis. I mean, she's horrible. And we haven't seen her in a long time. And I can agree with you. And I think that there's possibilities that maybe I'll stop talking about her in this season. Maybe I just feel like I am trying to help us digest her more in these, but I don't, listen, I get it, babe. I mean, listen, you're absolutely right. Okay, so there's not an answer for me to give you to that. Like it's a valid point. Okay, so basically after this, and I'll just get through this, is that they go to like a buffet and it's like a salad buffet and she like wants everyone to like eat healthy and none of her family wants to eat healthy because why would they? They're like have never had to their whole life. And you're definitely not like, putting out forth positive, healthy vibes all the time. It's kind of like it's basically like when Honey Boo Boo's mom, Mama June, had the same surgery. And I love you guys all, Honey Boo Boo didn't learn from her mom how to eat healthy during that time. And you know what I'm saying? Honey Boo Boo is like on the pathway towards kind of having some similar situations and stuff. So maybe I also feel somewhat of a desire to talk about the surgery, weight loss surgery, in such a way with an honest knowledge that it's not easy what happens afterward. And there's a lot. But you have to understand, you have to have a reasoning and understanding of nutrition. You have to give yourself the knowledge and the education that you have to change your life after, and how your mindset about food and movement and fitness and health. And we all have issues. So it's not like I live in California and I'm around people that drink green juices, but it seems like both these women, like from the very intense South, like there is just a culture of food in a way that's different. And both these women also are like from different economic classes. So like with Honey Boo Boo's mom, like it was a whole thing where like she'd make like mayonnaise sandwiches and stuff like that, like white bread mayonnaise sandwiches. Which like a white bread mayonnaise sandwich with bologna was something that I was given when I was like in the 80s and 90s. And then mindsets and such have changed thusly where I was eating better food, but I can still very much overeat, So it's like I can overeat hummus. One of my favorite things to do. So it's just, I don't know. I guess I'm just like, you can see how difficult it is, especially if you go into a weight loss surgery thinking that it's just like an easy fix and then you're done. Because you'll gain the weight back. It sucks. Anyway, let's move on to Jenny and Sumit. So Jenny and Sumit are leaving their like new house to go back to their old house, and the old house that they had before that they had to like pretend they were still at. And uh sorry, I got a text from Juan. Just read it live. I thought I put this on Do Not Disturb only because I love so much. I'm like too much of someone who like can't look at a pop up. So the old house is where the parents had come and they had to pretend they were still living in or whatever. And then Jenny makes it known that like the old house has the address that all the visa information is on. So that's why they also have to like go back there, because at any time the authorities could come and like do a surprise checkup and they better be there. So they go back and they're moving back, and they'd also decide they're going to take their honeymoon. They're going to go to Rishikesh, which is like a beautiful part of India, and they're going to drive there. And driving in India always looks crazy. And they almost get in this car accident when someone like tries to like swipe them, and then Jenny goes to indicate to Submit that she is scared and or that they're about to get in an accident. That's the sound she makes. I mean, it literally sounds like a Libby like vocal warm up, doesn't it? It's such a sound that takes, to me, like such wherewithal to make, especially if you're in a situation where like you think your life's about to like go, like, yeah, you would think like any other sound, like, whoa, look at that, stop, watch out, like there's just like a barrage of sounds that you can make, and like the sound out of the blue sounds like such a choice. Like, how did you do it? Kicking us out of this world. I mean, like, what was like? It's like also to Jenny's benefit. It sounds like a sound that like a non-American would make. Remember, like, it also is Jenny still going to the Hare Krishna temple? Remember that? That happened last season. I don't think she still goes. I don't know. So we get to this beautiful resort, and it is definitely lovely. And they get in. Some guy is like, gives them a welcome drink. It looks like it's probably tea, but there's like two different colors of tea. One's like a darker color, and one's like a lighter color. It's very like Alice in Wonderland. Like, take the blue pill with the pink pill. Like, I wonder what it would be. Is one apple juice? Is one whiskey? Is one dark tea and one light tea? They get there, they check in, there's going to be like a moment where the person checking them in, like, looks at both of them and is like, and they're like, oh, we're here for our honeymoon. And he's like, mm-hmm. Like, look at camera like Jim from The Office. And then we get to have a conversation with him in this confessional where he's like, I was very taken aback by the age difference. And if this was me, my family would not be happy about it. Really? Tell us more about how Indian families wouldn't be happy about it. Huh. Wonder what that looks like. We've had so many seasons of watching this. Anyway. They get into their room. The room looks lovely. I mean, this is unbelievable, but like, they definitely put out red rose petals like all over the bed, and they drew them a bath, and the bath also had red rose petals, but specifically the rose petals were not like it looked like someone took a freaking tweezer and was like, one rose petal right there, give me the ruler. No, we got to do 3 inches between each rose petal. They like drew a line with like a pencil, then they had to like erase a line later, put like another rose petal. It was just like very meticulously done. But then, yeah, like they're like so excited because the water is hot for them to take like a bath. I love a bath so much. I was very into the bath. I was like, F that swan, honey. Let me get in that bathtub. But there's like a swan, made out of towels, and it's like very grand, and yeah, at one point Jenny decides to get on the bed, like, take my picture. And then she's like, wait 1 second, let me get this prop. And she like puts the rose in her mouth. My love's like, she's about to like dance the Argentinian tango on Dancing with the Stars. By the way, you guys watching that? That's crazy. I love Shangela. So I'm going to vote for Shangela. But Teresa Giudice's on it. I watched a little bit of hers, which is like they basically made her like flip a table and then do like the tango, which I thought was interesting. Or the quick step. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's the quick step. I don't really know like partner dances that much. But I do know that if you have a rose in your mouth, you're probably doing like not the jive. The jive? You're not going to swing dance with a rose in your mouth. You'll choke on the rose. I guess in my mind, I was like, don't you guys get a selfie stick and take a picture together on that bed? But, Sumit's like, oh, Jenny, you look so beautiful. God bless. Sumit decides that once Jenny has a rose in her mouth, that he can like say something honest to her, which is that he wants to go back to work. He's like, yeah, you're retired, but I'm like in my 30s. I still want to be like a functioning member of society, which is, I think admirable, because I don't understand the concept of like you not working for like the years in which you'll be with Jenny. Like Jenny won't be alive as long as Sumit will. So like at some point Jenny's going to pass, then Sumit's just going to be like a 6-year-old person that had not worked that entire time, has like no resume and like no savings. Also, I don't even the same thing with Michael and Angela. And I also don't even understand the concept of these women that don't want their men to work. Maybe because they are making so much money on this show, they're like, you don't need to. But they won't say that because, like they can't say it, but it's like so crazy to me. Like, it's not attractive. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna get this leg up here. So Sumit had worked in the food business before, the food service business or cooking. He has a friend. I don't know. They're going to like make food for people. I'm not quite sure if it's a catering business, if they're just going to like open up a little stand, my love. There's a little stand somewhere, like a yummy like street food stand. I mean, like, or is it a whole ass restaurant? He makes it seem like he'll have to work 6 days a week, which makes me feel like, what is it going to be? What are they going to make? What kind of food? I kind of want a lot more information about it. I love Indian food. It's been a minute since I've had Indian food too. I remember when I was in London before the Queen died. I wanted to get Indian food there because a lot of the best restaurants in London are Indian. So, okay, baby boos. Basically, when he says this, like, Jenny loses her mind and is like, why are you bringing it up now? We're on this romantic vacation. I don't want to think about the fact that like you want to leave me and spend 6 days 6 days out of 7 days doing something different. Why do you want to? Okay, let me think about this. When you're in love, you call me, please. When you're in love, you want to be with someone 24 hours a day. Okay, let's just say you're not really 24 hours a day. Let's say, Chris, you're sleeping. Okay, you're sleeping sometimes. 16 hours of waking moments. 16 hours of waking moments just side by side. I'm not saying that like, I think there's a compromise, like I don't want anyone to work 6 days a week. That seems like a lot. That seems like too much. How about 4 days a week and 1 or 2 days, he has to be like on his email and like sometimes like having phone calls and stuff like that. Like working from home 2 days a week. Maybe working in actuality 3 or 4 days. I mean, like, I don't know, but there's got to be something. No different from Bilal and Shida. I think you said Shaida, but any one of them, I'm sure. Control the money, you control them. It goes both ways. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Which is why when Michael is like, I want to have a more opinion about our relationship, I want to be like, you then get money to do so. I want to go to Ireland so bad, please. I want to go so bad. I can't wait to go. Um, yeah, I've always thought like that I would enjoy it immensely and that I would never want to come back. So yeah, basically again, Jenny's like not happy that you should bring this up during this romantic time. She just wanted to spend the time with that rose in her mouth, honey, just like un folding that swan. I also think that it probably wasn't the best time to bring it up, but I think that that was obviously the producers making him do that. Just like it wasn't the best time of Libby and Andre to talk about her family drama in English, like in front of the dad. Anyway, God bless. The dad's first night, there. So let's move on to Kim and Usman. So this is a nightmare. Right now, there's like the couple that I don't want to talk about, but just because of like, I think just the stupidity. But first of all, Usman's a huge ass scammer. Doesn't want to be with Kimberly, and Kimberly, I don't know if Kimberly is in on it or is truly delusional. I feel like she's truly delusional, which makes me really sad. But Usman just has been trying so hard to get to America and get famous, and being on the show has, I'm sure, helped him in ways that like we'll never know. And so one of the conversations that Kimberly and Usman have had is over Usman taking a second wife because Kimberly is like past childbearing age. It's very important in Nigeria to have kids, blah, 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 blah. So Kimberly in the very first scene that we see her is like talking with her friends. I'm sorry, of the first episode, right? And it's like barely wanting to talk about how this is going to go down. And her friends like have normal questions and she like gets up and leave. But Kimberly keeps being like, I have no problem with having a second wife when it feels like you do. Kimberly in her mind wants to be like, I'm the first wife. And so because I'm the first wife, I get to make all the decisions about the second wife. And when you marry the first wife gets all the love. Like he loves the first wife and he'll never fall in love or have any feelings for any of the other wives that will bear him children. That's crazy. It's a crazy thing to think that like two people are going to spend time with each other, possibly make life, and are not going to like have any sort of like care about each other. Not going to. And I just what is it's hard for a grown seasoned woman to say that because she looks crazy. You're just like, no, that's not it either. No, that's not what it is. So Usman gets his friend Kabiru to come in and talk to them. And Kabiru has other wives. And so but Kabiru also like doesn't speak English. So like, can we have gotten someone to speak English? It feels like if you wanted someone to speak to Kimberly, it was like not the greatest because then Kabiru like just talks to Usman, then Usman has to translate it. So all Kimberly is hearing is like Usman. So anyway, God bless. So Kimberly's like, I don't want to ever have to meet the second wife, and I never want to meet any of my husband's kids. Basically what she says. And they're like, no. Are you insane? No. That's his kids. He's like, yeah, I'm going to want to bring my kids to America so that you can have like a relationship with my children. And she's like, absolutely not. No, I never want to meet them. Meanwhile, Jamal and Usman have like talked with each other on the phone many a time and on FaceTime or whatever. So they go back and forth, and it's kind of also the thing that we're like, we also get the like, well, the African man, like makes the rules, and the woman's supposed to be submissive, which is like all the things we have already known because we've had to sit through year after year of Michael and Angie, and like these women like never want that. I mean, it's kind of, I mean, whatever. It's just, it's a hard thing because at one side it's like these women are crazy, and then these men are just like there for the ride. It feels like, for whatever reason. Um, so Ronald, great point. Oh, wait. She thinks she's special being white and American. Wah had very strong feelings about this scene, and I'll let you listen to it. But something that I completely agree with is this part. So Kimberly, in her mind, thinks that Usman's second wife, who will probably be Nigerian, is just like a sperm receptacle. That she in herself, her own being, her own humanity, is deserving of no love or care or affection from her own husband and the family that she'll be in. That her job is to, like Handmaid's Tale, lay in between Kimberly's like legs and be the thing that can give her husband a baby. The thing. It feels dehumanizing and also bananas crazy. I think that Kimberly in her mind's like, well, for Usman to even ejaculate with her, he's going to have to be thinking of me. Maybe I'll give him some sexy nude pictures of me so that he can go in hard and have sex with this poor person thing, this poor thing, to give us a baby. What, girl? What? No. No. That kind of thing is mildly hilarious to me also because like it is the audacity that's so crazy to think. I could never, I don't think I'll ever get myself to a place where I'm like, this guy's gonna have sex with this other person. That's why I can't be in a, I mean, that's why I can't be in a polyamorous relationship. I would not want to be in a polyamorous relationship. I am a jealous, possessive person. I don't want my man to like have sex with other women. I don't want him to have feelings and for other women that aren't like his family members, you know? Like I want those sexual and romantic feelings to be with me. Period. That's why like, I won't be in a polyamorous relationship regardless of culture. Like I wouldn't be with Cody Brown for lots of reasons. Hmm. Um so basically this conversation derails and Kimberly's like, well, Usman painted a different picture of what it was. And then she just decides to throw her drink on Usman and get up and like stomp away, which is like the second time that she's done that, which is like, why do we have to keep seeing people throw drinks on the show? Like Ari and like Benny, like, I don't need to see a scene end with a drink being thrown on someone's face ever again. By the way, that shit does not even happen in real life. I have never thrown a drink on someone and I have been like accosted at a bar by someone that I had like met up on a date. I've been like I've shown up to a bar drunk. No, I'm sorry. I've shown up to a bar on a like to meet with someone who like I met off a dating website who was like absolutely wasted. I like have never in my mind thrown a drink on someone. It's like a trope that happens in movies that like isn't real. Like I double booked myself for a double date or I double booked myself for a date. So I'm just gonna like have a date in this corner of the restaurant and then go to the bathroom and continue the date over there. And then, like get my cousin to wear a wig and sit at one of the tables. Like what I mean, it's like one of those things you're like, that's not a real thing. Also, what do you think it does? Do you think it proves a point? Yeah, absolutely. It's just fucking fake. So, okay, so then they just like have this long, horrible conversation where she tries to blame Usman, like, you interrupted me, and that's why I threw the drink at you. And he's like, I didn't interrupt you. I was like explaining to you what he's saying, and you were like getting really heated, and like I don't need you to be screaming at me in front of my friend. It's just like not how we do things. It's not the protocol. Like you don't treat me that way in front of my friends. It looks really bad on me and it looks really bad on you. Like he's not gonna think that I should be with you, like blah 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 blah. Which is all true. Like that's also like a true thing. Like you don't like embarrass the person you're with in front of their friends or your friends or people. You don't like it's just, I don't know what to tell you other than I hate it. Um, they just like fight, like in the room, and then she basically like says that she's gonna take a flight. I can't talk. Take a flight back, and he like has to go and comfort her. And like we all know that she's not going to. She's not gonna take a flight back. This is not the end of the season for them. How I wish it was. But no, he's going to like calm her down, and she's going to like, I don't know, whatever, and then like still meet his family. And we're definitely going to have a lot of awkward Kimberly and his family scenes. We know what's coming our way. So, okay, let's move on. So we don't have any Jovi and Yara. So our last peeps are Bilal and Shida. Bilal and Shida decided to go furniture shopping in another trope of the season, or trope of this episode, which is where people go furniture shopping, but it's always going to be too expensive. But they decide to go there. They won't just go to a Sears. They won't just be on Wayfair getting half off or overstock. They're always going to go to some boutique. They're going to have some person who's on camera have to be like, hi, welcome. Do you need any help? Are you looking for anything in particular? And then be told they're not going to ever buy anything. So like, no, or they do have to help them and never buy anything. It's so sad. We know what Bilal's house looks like. It looks like it was staged, and at any time they're going to have an open house. None of it seems real. And so she says that she just wants to put her personal touch, that he's like living in a bachelor pad, which I don't know if that's true, because like bachelor pads usually don't have any decor to them. Kevin of Kevin and Tiffany of Love After Lockup, that's a bachelor pad. Everything's like red and black. I'm sure like the coffee table, like one of the legs of the coffee table is a crate. That kind of thing. Bilal doesn't have a bachelor pad. He has a staged home from like an open house. When she says that she wants a woman's touch, I think that she really also just wants to like personalize it a little bit, which makes sense. They look at things. She's like, look at this pillow. It's like teal velvet. He's like, I like the pillow. She's like, it's like, how much is it? And it's $270. And he's like, put the pillow back. Bilal is weirdly cheap and weirdly frugal for someone who wants us to think that he is like flashy. All of his Instagram is a lot of like poised Kylie Jenner-esque pictures, but like it's like cars and watches, the watches in the shot. Also, I was gonna say this. Yeah, it's so funny you brought up. It's like also in my mind, there's the pillow and the pillow cover. Why don't you get like a cheap pillow and get like a pillow cover of the teal? Okay, so they're shopping. She doesn't get to have the pillow, and then he like brings up, like this like black and white backgammon game. He's like, look how expensive this is. It's this amount of money. This is how much money it is in like Trinidad Tobago money. She's like, wow, it's expensive. But then she's also kind of like, yeah, but like you spend money on yourself all the time. I'm not saying that he doesn't spend money on her, because they're definitely rocking matching outfits. To me, that sounds like they, have like done at least some like styling together. And I definitely feel like once Bilal was on the show that he was like, we're going to get a personal stylist, honey. We're going to be like a power 90-day couple, which is probably another reason why when push came to shove of like people saying like what kind of husband or man he was, like he couldn't take it. It like belies the veneer of them being like perfect all the time. But anyway, in the store, when he says no to the backgammon, she like makes her way to like the kid section, the baby section. He's like, don't look there, don't look there. And we get more of this like Bilal doesn't want to have kids talk, or Bilal thinks it's too early to have kids talk, or but we thought that this is another thing. So we know that his mom got pregnant a month after they got married, and him and Shida like I love you. The Shida also, or Shahida wanted to have kids, and the kids came really early, and Bilal had issues when the kids came because his house was always messy, and I think felt like the kids were like not it. Which is sad because the kids are all grown and going to watch this episode and really know what his dad felt like. But he also, okay, so Shida brings up the fact that she wants to again have kids. Like, this is the only thing she's like ever said about this. And he's like, why are we talking about this? Because we already brought it up in the prenup. In the prenup, it's like she wants to have kids before 40. And I think that in his mind, he thought, great, we'll have kids at 40. He says that it's too early for them to have kids because they're still getting to know each other, which also is like, but you got married. Why didn't you just wait to know each other? Like, you went to Trinidad and Tobago once and then she came here. Like, why didn't you go visit her a couple more times to make sure that you like, why? And also, can I understand this? Like, is it hard to get a visa for someone to come for like a week? And so that's why the people that come to America come for the first time and suddenly do the 90 days. Like, I don't get it. Can't they just go somewhere else and like have some time together? Like, can another beautiful locale and spend like 2 weeks before you have brought her? Like, why is it that you feel like you don't know this person that you got married to? And is that something that like always happens for you? I mean, I don't know. Oh, Jane. Ooh, a super chat in pounds. Ooh, how lovely. Jane, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. Mostly because like at least 5 pounds, I think it's even more in actual dollars. No, I'm just kidding about that. We're talking about, conversions where in our money, the zeros are actual zeros. Not like your dumb money. I'm not talking about you, Jane. That's what Bilal said to Shy. Thank you so much for that super chat. You're very, very kind and I appreciate it. So here's the thing. Shida does not have much time. She's right. From internet search at age 40, an average healthy woman has only a 5% chance of getting pregnant per cycle. I hate that. I hate that for us. He has to is he so dumb to not know that? Or does he not know and that's why Shida's like, let's go to a fertility specialist? I don't think he knows or he's trying to wait so that the odds never happen for him. And it's really fucking rude. Because it's the one thing that she wants. Besides doing yoga, she likes to do yoga and she wants to have kids. And if you don't want to have kids with this person who has made it very much known that she has anxiety because she might be, it's getting close to the end for her, then do not marry her. Because you don't have to tell me that you have to get to know each other first. This person has made it very clear it's what she wants. So if you don't want that, then get the F out. It really feels like he's just waiting for it to not be a possibility and then be like, oh, well, I guess we can't do it. Sorry. Also, if you're so frugal and cheap, it'd be a lot easier to start the process now trying to have a kid than having to pay thousands of dollars in IVF and stuff, which is what you're going to have to do, I guess, by a certain time. The more frugal option would be to have a baby now. Or this option, freeze your eggs. How old is Shida? Shida is 38. I don't know how old Shahida is. It's just not the best, It makes you feel like he does not care about the major thing that she wants mostly in her life. It's also so interesting. I don't know why I took a huge pause because it's so interesting because he's so religious and it seems like, yeah, he has no desire to create the family with Shida that isn't that part of most dominant religions of having a family? Also, I have said this before and I'll say it again. It truly just feels like he's like, yeah, we want to go on vacations and I want my house to be clean, so I don't want kids. And it's like, then hire someone to clean the house or an au pair to also help take care of the kids so you can go on vacations. Then just hire someone. That's what you do. That's what rich people do. Sell one of those watches. You don't need all those watches. You don't need Louis Vuitton luggage. You know how awkward it is to have Louis Vuitton luggage? Unless you're flying private all the time. Because no matter if you sit first class all of your luggage is being thrown everywhere all the time. Like they're gonna be like, ooh, Louis Vuitton. Like they're just throwing it everywhere. Why that was a waste of goddamn money. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, my loves. He has a conversation with his mom where, like his mom is also under the impression that the prenup made it seem like they had time. When I don't feel like the prenup said if we don't have kids by 40, this happens. And I think that in her mind, she means that we're going to start trying to have kids before 40. No decision is a huge decision. Yeah. My youngest niece at 40, happy and healthy. For Amsterdam, I'm just going to I want that so bad for me. I do want to have kids. I don't even know if I'm going to be able, I don't know if I'm ever going to have kids though. It's so crazy. I never would have thought that for myself. I definitely thought I would have had kids by now. I definitely thought I would have gotten married by now. This world's crazy. I don't know what to tell you. Bilal's mom also said that he's an imam, that he's been studying that he's an imam. So I need to find out exactly what that means right now. A person who leads prayers in a mosque. Okay, so she said that I think to be that imam has done the inner work on himself and has gotten to the level of being able to be an imam and thusly a pillar of society and stuff. But he leads his life in a very sort of narcissistic way, right? Where he will, lecture people and he feels like his way is the right way and everyone else's way is not the right way. And it seems like in this one major thing that has been very vocal about what his beloved wants, he won't give it to her. But he's made her do things like live in his shacky shack house and, have to deal with his ex-wife without him dealing with her. I don't know. Bilal's mom very much in a very Pam way, doesn't see any fault with her son. It feels very much like Bilal's mom thinks that Bilal is God's gift, literally. And he's probably used to feeling that from people. Probably another reason why his divorce from Shahida was probably horrifying for him, that someone would have left him or not want to be with him. Ay. Okay, my loves, that is the end of the episode. Can you believe it? We have come to the end. Although we've come to the end of the road, no, I can't let you go. But I do have to let you go because I have to get my life together and have to get back on a horse today. Because that's what happens when you fall off, my loves. You have to eventually get back up. Now, yes, you're welcome to nurse yourself and take a lot of a leave. But at the same time, it's every failure, only gets you toward your goal. You fail towards your goal. It's very hard to win towards your goal, I think. I think that's something that's hard to deal with or hard to understand, but it's true. So I guess with every failed Hinge date I've had, I'm closer and closer towards meeting the love of my life, I guess. Listen, I don't know. I don't know the answers. When you raise your son like a prince, you're creating a tyrant. Honey, that's what the Queen Elizabeth. I'm a mom. It's a bit unreasonable for expect a mom to not be a mom. I get that. No, moms, you want your mom to be your biggest fan. You also want your parent to be able to, just like you, look at situations, from a different perspective. So, it's all hard, I guess, right? It's all difficult. I love that fail towards your goals. I love that perspective and positivity. Yeah, well, it's it's true. Not everyone who is successful just like one their way. And I would like to think that even though it might look like that from the outside, it's not the truth. And people who haven't had to experience failure or pain or trauma, at some point when it comes to them, and it always comes to them, they are not going to be able to withstand it in such a way as someone who has weathered many a storm. I'm telling you guys this as to tell myself this. All right, my loves. That's it. That's all we have. I am excited to watch the next episode, and I want to watch some Single Life coming up. So that's also going to happen for me. I can't do a whole recap yet on it. Why am I doing this to my hair? Why? Because I do not even have anything to then secure this bun that I'm making on top of my head. I love you guys so much. Believe in you unreasonably. It's a great thing to have. Yeah. You have to teach empathy, respect, sharing, and indeed to get back on the horse when you fall off. That's true. Because often people disbelieve you unreasonably. Because often people disbelieve you unreasonably. Can you say that again? Did you watch the funeral yesterday? No. I watched snippets and coverage on Twitter. But it was just, I don't even like watching anything that long. I can't, it's hard for me to watch movies. Single Life is fun. Natalie was a mess, and Debbie's so sexual. Barf. I know. Debbie's voice is so crazy. It really does sound like there is just something lodged in her throat at all times. And I did pick up on the one where she talks about Bob, her vibrator. I would have enjoyed going my life without knowing or thinking about that woman in a vibrator. But I guess we all deserve sex. We all deserve love. But I don't know what's happening with that culty person, but there's I'm hoping that culty person doesn't live with her anymore. Where parents give you too much a belief. People do imprint themselves on their kids, and there's no stipulation in the prenup what happens if she doesn't get pregnant. Yeah, is it money that she gets? Does she get? I mean, it should be if I'm not pregnant by 40, we are going to invest $20,000 in IVF. And if I'm not pregnant by 42, you will invest $50,000 in a surrogate. Also, she should have been, when we get married, we'll go see a fertility specialist and start to realize the actual numbers we have going. His sperm, my egg count, or my FSH follicle number or whatnot. There should have been a little more specificity. God, I don't know, that shit's scary. HEA is getting boring, especially with Angela and her nonsense. Yeah, we were bound to get bored by this season because they keep using the same people. It's interesting why they won't go back to some people who we haven't seen for a second, unless they just no drama. But it's just it's a lot of Jenny and Sumit we've seen. It's a lot of Angela and Michael we've seen. It's a lot of Libby and Andre we've seen. It's a lot. We just keep seeing them, 4 or 5 seasons of them. There are people that we've only seen once. I don't know, my loves. It'd be interesting to find out what's happening with some other people, check in. All right, baby boos. Let's call it a day. As I've already said, DocuSweeties is live. We do have HEA. If you want to get Wa's opinion on this episode, it's live on our Patreon, and we'll hopefully have the episode to go live on our feed later on tonight. But we already have Love After Lockup live on our feed, as well as 2 episodes. 2 episodes? I think I have to put up the episode of the first episode of the deep dive. So that's coming your way too. All of this exists on Patreon. The DocuSweeties podcast has Love After Lockup right now, and we'll be putting up HEA tonight. I can't remember if I put up Teal Swan's The Deep End or not. Have you watched it though? That's very important. I want to give you guys time to watch it too. you'll binge it because like it's so well done, you won't be able to stop. Other than that, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I am at Chris L. Farah. The L is for love. And we're going to take a breath. It's funny how things have, since I've started YouTubing, it's funny how certain things have become repetitive, somewhat like ritualistic things, right? I remember when I used to do the edited caps, I would always say like what the L stands for in my name, right? I would try and like pick L words that like had to do with episodes, but then it just got very hard because I guess I don't know, there's not a lot of L words. But then like this breath has become a thing. When by thing I mean people want it to happen, and so do I. And then also just the podcast has like a little fun, weird thing. If you can tell me what it is, go to DocuSweetie's Instagram and guess what weird ritual thing that Juan and I do on the podcast. Yeah, but I think that you are the person that like really called for the breath to be like a whole ass thing. But let's do it. We're gonna do two. One is just kind of like to get our bodies ready for it and like remember what it's like to like deep breathe, and the other one is like the one where we can do it at the best of our intentions with what we know. So maybe one's like a cleansing breath and one's our actual breath, whatever it is. So let's get ready, blow it all out. Breathe it back in. Blow it out. Breathing it back in. God, it feels good. It feels good. There's a groundingness to happen, right? And in this moment, we've been present for an hour and 30 minutes just talking to each other. I've tried to be present, but my mind is also like racing with thoughts to tell you guys. My mindful moments of the chat truly happen when I read your comments. Then I'm like, oh yeah. I really love doing the lives because it's just so fun to have people to talk to. I know they're long. They're so fun for me. I really enjoy them. All right, my loves. Thank you so much for being here. Please like this video. Please give it a thumbs it up for me. And remember, when you hit that up in the thumbs it up, make sure you smile and open up your cheeks. Thumbs it up. I'm kidding. But I love you guys. Thank you for everything. I hope you have a beautiful day. Please, if you haven't, give DocuSweeties 5 stars and follow on Instagram. And if you haven't yet, also follow me. I'm Chris L. Farah. I love you guys very much, and I appreciate all of your engagement here. Thank you so much for my super chat, Jane. Thank you so much for my mods and everyone here that shows up just to like spend some time and talk about this dumbass show, but we actually talk about other things. I'll talk to you all later. Have a beautiful day. Okay. Bye, friends. Oh, join Vanity Farah on Facebook.